Today we're exploring the fascinating experiences of Africans living abroad or born in different parts of the world. Joining us now is founder and director of beingafrican.com, an extraordinary platform that seeks to bridge the gap, grow and preserve the rich African culture for those far from home. Gladys Jakachira joins us from Aurora in Illinois, and Busi Chikwera is in Massachusetts. Ladies, very good evening, or good afternoon, I should be saying, because it's afternoon your time. Thanks so much for joining us on Africa today. Allow me to start with you, Gladys. Can you tell us more about the inspiration around being African?
Yes, Being African started as a small website, speakshona.com, because we have 3 kids and we just were failing to give them the cultural elements that they needed. But in trying to set up the website, the pain points became so apparent that we didn't have anything that was comprehensive that could give a framework of the African cultures in one place. And so it morphed from a single language website to what it is today. And I give credit to my kids because they kept on pressing about the need to learn languages and our culture.
Now, Busi, it's amazing. In fact, it's the African, I shan't say the African language, but the African experience is extremely diverse. 54, 55 African countries, multiple languages that are spoken, as well as multiple cultures on the continent. Now, talk to us about what you zoned in on and where your focus areas are.
Thank you, Hugo. It is indeed a huge continent, and you said 54, it is 55, and we are looking at all the countries, but the ones that we have zoned in on are right there on our website. The areas that we're looking at really is the cycle of life. We're looking at birth, we're looking at your marriages, and we're looking at traditions and how we bury our people on the continent. And when you get on the website, you will see that the countries that are already represented there, all those things are clearly spelled out. The website is so easy to maneuver and to work around. It's simple, but not simplistic.
Now, Gladys, let's talk about traction. You know, what sort of response have you gotten from people that have come onto the website, and what for them has been the most valuable information they've been able to acquire?
The ages between 25 and 45 really, and they have been coming very passionately thanking us for starting this website because we explain the cultures. So this is African Culture Explained. I had an email from a young lady in England, and she thanked us profusely because she didn't understand. There was no understanding in the lobola process. It was just put in front of her, and she rejected it. And she wanted to know if she could get married after the white wedding, the church wedding, to have this cultural wedding. And so the young generation, it's not that they don't like the culture. It's just that they didn't have understanding. And it's becoming apparent that we even don't know it. We just practice the customs, we practice the traditions without understanding. When you present the why, it becomes a very interesting, powerful, and passionate experience to build the identity for our African people.
Now, Busi, it's called beingafrican.com, so I'd imagine that a host of Africans are coming onto the website. But as Gladys says, the issues around lobola or dowry, which potentially impact non-Africans. Are you getting a response or traction with non-Africans as well?
Absolutely, Hugo. You understand that with globalization, we have a lot of intermarriages coming into play. And with us, what happens is, on the website, people can come in and find out, I'm an Italian and I am marrying a Ghanaian girl. What happens in the process of marrying into a different culture? So this is one place where the information is all there, and a person can actually research before entering into negotiations and into a marriage. You do know that a person who knows why something is done is better than a person who knows just how it is done.
Now, Gladys, I'm going to pick Nigeria as an example. I don't know exactly how many tribes there are in Nigeria, but I know that there are hundreds of tribes in Nigeria. So when you look at information that you put up on the website, and there's so many different tribes with so many different cultures within those tribes, where's your focus? How do you determine that this is the Nigerian feel when Nigeria is potentially represented by over 100 tribes?
Okay, there's no discrimination on being African. By that I mean we can be responsible for the 5 major cultures. However, anyone can write content, and we will gladly include it on the website. So if you have, say, a tribe that is represented by 1,000 people, 6 of you can write a paper, submit it to us, but we are very particular about the quality of material we are putting there because we need to stand by it as representation of the culture, the real, authentic information. Why? Because our children's legacy and identity is at stake. So we are very particular about what we upload, but we are actually looking for content. So if you have a tribe, by all means, contact us at our email info@beingafrican.com, and we'll work with you.
Now, Busi, picking up on what Gladys has just talked about, you're talking about the quality of the content, the authenticity of it. Now, by tradition, a lot of what we've picked up as Africans has come via storytelling, right? So let's talk to the processes of information acquisition that you use outside of, hey guys, I'm from this particular tribe and this is how we work things. I mean, how do you confirm the veracity of information, for instance?
What we have done very intentionally is we haven't sort of sat from where we are at the different locations. We've actually engaged people in the different countries representing the specific tribes that you see posted on our website. So we have not just gone into research because, as you rightly say, a lot of our information for Africa has been through storytelling and passed on oral tradition. But there are people in Nigeria, there are people in Ghana, there are people in Egypt, and really right across Africa who have heard the stories, who have received the teachings, and they are the people that we are working with to write those papers for us.
Gladys, before we let you go, give us a heartwarming story, if you will, of someone's experience on beingafrican.com that said to you, you know what, this is the best thing that we've done.
Yes, I've had a long conversation with a young man who was preparing to get married. Incidentally, they are Shona, and because they don't like reading a lot of material. So we have provided as much information in the FAQs, and we preempted every possible question that we could come across. So for them, the pieced information, the packaging of our information was very, very appreciated. And we have videos that dramatize these marriage processes. So they are realistic and the settings are real. So people learn differently. And the appreciation was on catering for people who learn by listening, people who learn by watching, people who learn by reading summarized information, and even podcasts, which are coming soon. So we have catered to the different needs of our target audience.
Busi, I absolutely love my food. Is there anything that takes care of the palate in there?
Absolutely. We have that taken care of on the website. If you go on, we have people who've written about the diets of their countries. So go ahead and see what is being eaten as a staple food in Botswana, in Zimbabwe, and all over Africa, really.
Gladys, I know I had promised that would be the last question, but this one I promise is the final question. Is there a cost to this information? Is there a cost to subscribing? Is there a subscription? Is it subscription-based?
Thank you, Hugo, for asking that question. Thank you very much. It's $3.99. That is $0. You pay nothing. So you get to learn about the people of a country, the location of a country, the ethnic groups, the population, where it is in Africa. You learn the languages, you learn the circle of life, manners and protocols. You learn about the music and arts. You learn about clans and totems for free. And we have Train Up a Child, which is very unique because it's musical. So we wanted to be creative because Africans are very creative. And so our Training Up a Child program is musical. And all of that information, you pay nothing. That is why we think that as a community, as Africans, we should just rally behind this product and do the best we can, because we are not losing our culture. Our children should never have to say we had a culture and we had a language. But it also starts with us.
Gladys, Jakachira and Busi, Chikwera, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for speaking to us on Africa Today. And as they've said, being African is free. In fact, if you need any information on your culture, or you are unaware of your culture, it's all available on beingafrican.com. And they did say it's free, 99. Well, that's where we leave it for this week. I'm Hugo Ribetika. Look forward to the pleasure of your company at the very same time next week. Until then, goodbye.